Welcome back, players. I'm Jack with 36 Cancel, and this is Coco the Weiss Cat. So one of the most popular conversation topics about Weiss Schwarz players gravitate towards, besides how badly they got Weissed out at the last tournament, is what titles should come to English. After all, Weiss Schwarz is a Japanese game, and the Japanese game has been running a lot longer and has a ton more titles under its umbrella and enjoys a lot more popularity in Japan than in the West. But for those of us who don't live in the Golden Land, this leaves us with two choices. We can either A, play the English game, which has far fewer titles and a much different metagame, or B, learn the Moon Runes and play Japanese. However, getting your hands on Japanese cards in the West is somewhat of a challenge, and reading them and checking the rules text can be a hassle if you're not already super into it. This is why I'm primarily an English player. I don't own any Japanese cards. After all, English has a ton of interesting sets and a good community around it, and almost no one around me plays JP Weiss. And with a growing vendor support and growing player base, I have high hopes for what the next few years of Weiss Schwarz could look like once we're all vaccinated against the great evil that is COVID-19. But still, many times us English players are left looking over the ocean to watch new sets get dropped in Japan and stare longingly, hoping that we'll see them get translated and localized. And on that note, there are several sets that stand above most others in Japan that I think would be super smart for Bushiroad to bring to English. So just for fun, here are 5 titles that I think should be brought across the waters and given English releases. Now, before I begin, obviously I want to state that I'm not too familiar with the Japanese metagame, so there definitely could be balance arguments made against my choices here, so forgive me for that. But overall, while some of these sets might change the English meta significantly, I don't think anyone would do significant damage. And there are some obvious ones I'm skipping over. These are Rascal Set 2, SAO 10th Anniversary, and Kantai European Fleet. Even though these are all big demands in English, they're also pretty much shoo-ins, and will definitely hit the shelves in the near future. Kantai might take a bit more time than others, but it'll come. But the ones I'm going to mention are sets that could have great positive impact on the English meta and have significant popularity in the West, which brings me to number 1 on the list. Kimono Friends. And yeah, anyone even a little familiar with JP Weiss saw this coming. But seriously, who in the Western anime community didn't at least think Kimono Friends was super cute? It absolutely blew up culturally and made its way to mainstream memery for years. Have I watched it? No, not personally, but even though I never took a huge interest in it, I've seen the characters everywhere. And of course, I remember Grape-kun, the otaku penguin. Who doesn't? Even though it's been several years since the show aired, when has that stopped Bushiroad from dropping Western hits? I mean, look at Overlord, and even though that set wasn't very strong nowadays, people still bought it up. That said, I have no doubt English players would poach our little animal-eared girls right off the shelves to keep in their very own homes, but set-wise, Kimono Friends is anything but outdated. Even though it's an older set, it's got some super strong tools and several constructible decks that could give some of the big decks in the English meta runs for their money. It features several strong finishers like Serval and Lion, a standby trigger to work with, several amazing level 0s including one that memory compresses and anti-burns from memory, and a number of extremely strong events like a level 1 Akatsuki event, a 2-1 event that heals to hand, and a rest counter that can be searched or bonded with other characters. It could definitely shake things up in the English game, and it would be a huge source of hype for existing players and new players alike. Now, I want to make a little statement here since I'm done talking about it for now. It's a damn tragedy how the show was handled by its parent company, and there was a lot of fallout with the fanbase as a result. Kadokawa basically greenlit the show 3 years ago, gave the director nothing to work with, and then swooped in like America to an oil field when it struck gold with fans. They unceremoniously fired the super talented and dedicated director, and tried to turn the series into a shameless cash grab with a really badly produced second season and an arcade game, though it is worth mentioning that the Weiss set was greenlit before the shit went down, and in a lot of ways is still pure to the show and its creators. But all that said, I still really appreciate the dedication that Tatsuki put into the show, and I'd love to see the fruits of his efforts localized for everyone in the West who loved his work. And speaking of titles that absolutely took the West by storm, let's talk about the next set on the list. Steins Gate. Steins Gate is another example of a show and a visual novel that enjoyed enormous popularity with Western audiences. I'm honestly shocked it hasn't come over already. It's one of those special kinds of stories that makes you both laugh and cry hysterically for both sad and happy reasons. The characters are tragic, funny, and extremely memorable. The science fiction element that's already popular over here, combined with a strong waifu love, blended into the mix makes the title practically beg for an English release, and the set is just as interesting. There's a lot of different ways to gain advantage in this series. Cards jump in and out of the level zone and clock. There's a lot of complex interactions to both gain a ton of power and garner strong advantage by moving your cards around. The set also has a strong lineup of events that can be salvaged with characters and keep yours alive, helping you wall up and keep your characters on the field. And finally, the set has a great level 0 and level 3. At level 0, you have free runners, coin flip, rikis, and everything you want out of the modern Weiss set, not to mention all the cards that help you fix other cards in your level zone. And at level 3, you have some very strong burns, great assists, and super clutch early plays. I don't think it will be necessarily meta-breaking, but it wouldn't be a pushover either, and it would offer a very different style of play that English doesn't really have right now, and other decks aren't used to contending with. Bottom line, I think a lot of people will be super excited to see this hit English for a lot of reasons, and even though I'm not too invested myself, I hope Bushiroad sees the light and opens the gate on Stein for English. Now, just to interrupt our list here, I want to talk to you players about 3 sets that are already in English: Kill la Kill, Log Horizon, and Haruhi. I've never made a tier video before, though I might in the future, but if I did, these sets will be near the bottom. These are all very old Weiss Schwarz sets, and while they have some strong cards here and there, the overall shell is extremely lacking. It sucks because these are all 3 popular titles, and what's more, the good cards in these sets are extremely fun to play. Well, I know a lot of people already knew this, but for those of you who didn't, Bushiroad actually took note and somewhat remedied the problem with these blockbuster titles that had a mediocre showing in the actual game. They released power-up sets. Yeah, imagine that. Taking an old set and giving it a small group of new cards to help round out the decks and make them more competitive. Each power-up set only has like 8 cards, but they also have new foils, and each one of the 8 cards is a solid choice to make the mediocre old decks shine again. For example, the Kill la Kill power-up set gives the series a much-needed good drop searcher, a card that helps you gain advantage from all that marker work you're doing with Senketsu and Junketsu, replaces that awful 7500 change target from the level 0 that makes you lock yourself to an actual good card that gives you free stock, gives Ryuko an actual early play, and further, it gives Ryuko a real level 1 combo that salvages. Yeah, it gives Kill la Kill a real level 1 advantage combo. How about that? The Log Horizon power-up set gives Akatsuki a real early play that's pretty good, gives Blue an actual searching Brainstormer with a good profile, and provides a totally new level 1 climax combo. It's just an on-attack top jack with a pants on some dude called William Massachusetts, but the set needs it. Honestly, most of the cards are kind of lackluster, but having a real level 1 combo and a Brainstormer is something the deck desperately needs. If it had those things, I don't think it would be nearly as bad as it is. Maybe it would even reach the B tier. And Haruhi got some cool new stuff too. Mikuru got a healing early play that can be backed up against, and a level 0 that bounces in and out of memory for advantage. Haruhi herself got a good new level 0 Brainstormer and a new level 1 combo, as well as a kind of weird level 3 combo that I probably wouldn't play. And Nagato got a Riki and a 106k wall that you can sack and pitch a card to give one of your characters plus 3k as a backup ability. Now, would any of these 3 power-up sets bring these old titles back to the stage in a big way? No, probably not, but you definitely might see them more in tournament results, up from the 0% representation they have as it stands. It's honestly a slap in the face that these titles haven't had their power-up sets released in English for so long, because they desperately need this boost if they're going to stop collecting dust on people's shelves. I think it would be best to wrap up the 3 extra sets as a standalone extra booster that players could invest in. It would give friends who play different sets real opportunities to enjoy a product together. Seriously, Bushi, just release this between sets or something in English. It's 24 cards to translate and localize. It wouldn't be hard at all. Hell, I'd buy it for my Log Horizon and Kill la Kill deck, and I've got a buddy who rocks Haruhi because he loves the shit out of that set. We'd totally go in on it together. Bushiroad, get it together and bring these power-up sets to English. Now, I know that's technically 3 sets, but I'm counting it as 1, so don't worry, I'm still going to talk about 2 sets that need to come overseas. And getting back to the subject at hand, let's talk about quintessential quintuplets. Oh my god. Every fucking comment section on every video I make. Do you think they'll release quintessential quintuplets? When is quintessential quintuplets coming over? On Facebook groups, is there a hope that quintessential quintuplets is coming over? On Reddit, quintessential quintuplets really needs to come to English? Alright, I get it, you guys really want quintessential quintuplets. For those of you who don't know, basically some super uptight study bug with a lot of debt to his family's name happens into a tutoring job for, you guessed it, a rich family of quintuplet sisters, but who cares about him? It's the perfect new age harem show. Rich, colorful animation, funny tropes, and all the perfect girls for everyone to choose from, no matter your tastes. I mean, come on, you've got the older sister young adult slob with big tits, the aloof kudere that acts like an alien and is weak to head pats, the every way typical high school girl that happens to be a total knockout and helps you along the way, the cruel tsundere that gets off on fucking with you, and the childish bubbly opie kiddo. People love the shit out of this show, and season 2 is already confirmed despite the show being newer. So naturally, with so many many waifus, it's no wonder that so many people want to play them out in Waifu Wars the card game. I won't lie, if you're into the quintuplets or any one of them, this set will not disappoint you. It features a massive card pool with a ton of good cards for every sister. Each one has a staple good level 0, many of them have good brainstormers, and every sister has their own flavor of finisher. Yotsuba has a -2 soul healer, Ichiga has a burn 2 on cancel top checker, Itsuki has a reshuffle 2 and burn 3, Nino gets a healing restander, and Miku has a choose one of two where you either get to burn from the bottom or check from the top. You wouldn't have any trouble making a waifu deck for any one of them, but if you put them all together, the deck you could make will be super strong considering the set is universally traded and packed full of good cards. Text. And the foils are drop dead gorgeous. The newer and higher quality art combined with the gold foiling on the Hyper SPs this set has make for an absolutely stunning design. If Bushiroad dropped this set in English, people who didn't even play the game would open their wallets wider than the power gap between Day Day Live and Excel World Set 1, which, by the way, is very wide. But that could also definitely be true of the final title that made my little list here, The Fruits of Grisaya. This is another visual novel and anime knockout combo that really killed it in the West. We here in the States especially love our Mitchers, Satchers, and of course we can't get enough of our juicy Yujis. Both did super well on the release and they've become a Western staple in the choice harem genre. The VN has several sequels and side stories published, and the fan base for the title is always thirsty for content, myself included. I'm a huge fan of the series. The VN is a special, well-written stroke of genius that'll make you both laugh and cry, with memorable characters and an amazing story. If you have any love for stories or novels like this and you haven't sampled The Fruits of Grisaya already, I would highly recommend it, as unlike some of these titles, I'm balls deep in the source material and I can't recommend it enough. It's a truly great story, it's totally captivating and super fun to read, until you get to the parts that absolutely break you, but man is it an experience. 10 out of 10. But what about the Weiss set? Well, each heroine branches into 2 colors each, and each one has their own level 1 and level 3 toolkit. While it's not hard to make waifu decks, the set is best played together with a combination of very strong combos and good cards from Sachi with her Christmas Cosme-like level 1 combo, and either a Michiru Burn Forever top end or Yumiko's stock-friendly Cryptic Command finisher that stock wipes or burns 1. The set also features anti-healing tech and an early play good Musashi from Kazuki. There are a lot of ways to build this set and plenty of good combinations to choose from, and each one does an amazing job of capturing each heroine's flavor and personality. I would be super hyped to see this set come to English, and I know I'm not alone. Not by a long shot. Well, that's where I'm going to wrap it up for now, players. There are plenty of sets in Japan that deserve an English release, but these are what I think are the heavy hitters of the bunch. If I had to pick 5 for myself, I would pick different stuff, but that's tailored to my terrible tastes, you know? But what about yours? Do you disagree with these choices? Is there a Japanese set you'd die to have in English? Let me know in the comments. With the constant stream of new anime and new Weiss sets to capitalize on them, there are plenty of Weiss sets that never hit English and sadly age out of popularity and miss their chance to shine in the game, but others are timeless and have huge fan bases hungry for more, and these are definitely titles that fit that category. So here's hoping that Bushiroad can make some deals in the West and ship these titles to thirsty Western audiences. It's obviously one of the oldest conversations in English Weiss to have, and I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, so thanks for listening to me ramble on this, players, and look forward to more informal, just Weiss Schwarz discussion videos from me, along with, of course, our regularly scheduled programming. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.